Good morning from the bunker of the Collins household. I'm your host, Ryan Collins. Oh, things are getting crazy around here. I am out of ho-hos. The Oreo supply is dangerously low. Luckily, Tara made cookies, so I might survive the day. But after that, I don't know. I got a few things to show you today. If you want to ask a question, you can go to that address at the top of the screen and type that in, and you can ask questions. And whatever you type in, I can show up as a slide, so it makes it easier for everyone to see what's going on. Got a few people in the chat room too, so good morning, and let's get started. First up, if you have a smartphone and you're using the school email on it, a good idea would be to install the Gmail app and use it instead of the default email app on your phone. The reason being, we have every once in a while a scammer tries to be a principal and try to get teachers to buy gift cards. Just as a reminder, a principal will never ask you to buy a gift card, especially if it's iTunes, eBay, or Steam. But we had another scammer try Sunday night or Saturday night, Sunday? I don't know. The days are all blurred together. Tried to scam a bunch of teachers to buy eBay gift cards this time. So if you are using the Gmail app, it will pop up a message saying, hey, this name matches somebody in your organization, but this is not their email. It's just a way to stop you from accidentally opening that email or doing something with the contents of that email. So if you get any of those phishing, and it's spelled Phishing, phishing, that's when somebody is pretending to be somebody else and is phishing for somebody to buy them gift cards. If you use the Gmail app, not only will it help you separate your email, school email, from your personal email, it will also pop up those nice little messages to help you identify fraudulent email. And that's a good word for today, fraudulent. Up next, pinning tabs. So this is a feature of Google Chrome and most browsers where you can pin a tab. If you're like me, you might have tens of tabs open at a time. Usually when I hit 100 tabs, I'll start closing them. But before that, pinning helps you make your toolbar more compact. And let me show you. Let me switch over to my desktop. So here we have Donald Duck, and this is the default when the tabs are open up here. Let me add another one for the chat, Hangouts chat, and we'll add another one for Google Calendar. And Google Classroom for good measure. Now you notice the tabs are pretty big. Well, we can pin tabs so they only take up the space of the little favorite icon there. Favicon is fav icon. I don't know how you say it. I've only read it. So we can pin those tabs. And to pin the tab, I'm going to pin my Gmail tab here. We're going to right click on it. Now, if you're on a laptop, right click is 2 fingers on the keypad and click, and a menu option will pop up. One of the options is pin. As soon as I select that, boom, it throws it over to the left side, and it only takes up the size of the little icon. So I can do that to all of these. And now, instead of taking up the entire width with tabs, it only takes up a little bit for each one of these. Because usually these are tabs that you're going to leave open all the time anyway. So why not make them more compact and not take up as much space? So that is your first Google Chrome tip, and that works in Firefox and Safari. They all let you pin tabs to save space. And that way you can leave up these. I see people constantly opening and closing Gmail. if Gmail's open, there's no reason to ever close it because you know you're going to go back into it several times a day. So if you pin it, then you can always leave it open and you don't have to constantly reopen it. So that's your Chrome tip for today. Next up, bookmarks. Google loves to have everything as the addresses. These are called URLs. And so the Google Classroom, that's the URL. It's the address of the item that you want to use. Google loves and uses addresses for almost everything. I'm going to show you how to speed up your day and be able to use these bookmarks. A lot of us don't use bookmarks. I use them a lot because, let me show you my screen. I use the Start Me page. These are all my icons that I use almost constantly. We're not going to get that elaborate, so don't look at that and get overwhelmed because we're going to start simple. This guy right here underneath the address bar is called a toolbar, and you can put bookmarks on there. I push out this one called KCS, and it has some on there. This is a real pain for me to manage. I can't reorder these unless I delete the bookmarks and re-add them. That's why they're kind of in a weird order because I haven't had a chance to do that. To put an icon in the bookmarks bar, we click on the little, it's a lock beside the address. I can click on that and drag it and see a line shows up. When I drop it, that's my classes. I can be anywhere else on the net and I can hit classes and it goes to my list of classes. That's okay, but Google Classroom, we usually don't want to see our list of classes. We want to go into one of our classes. Well, when you click on your class, look, the bookmark changes. The URL changes, sorry, to this long list of random-ish numbers. I can click the lock again and drag that down here. Now I have an icon. Let me go to somewhere else. So now I have my Super Secret Learning Tech Extreme class that I just drug down as a bookmark. I click on it and I go right to that class. And in fact, if I use the classwork most of the time, because most of the time you're not using the stream, you're doing your work from the classwork page. That's probably the link you want to drag down. And look, it changes to classwork for Super Secret Learning Tech Extreme. So I can be somewhere else. And I want to get to my classwork for that. It'll go right to my classwork page instead of me going to Google Classroom, then clicking on Super Secret Learning Tech Extreme, and then clicking on classwork. I can do that all with one link. It go right to my classwork. Well, if you notice, this kind of can get pretty complicated once you add a few more classes in here. Let me add the classwork for this KMS Computer Science class, and let me add for my other Super Secret 1819 class. See, it gets pretty, and you want to add more links to other things. Well, we can also create folders in here. So anywhere in the toolbar, if I click, right click, remember 2-finger clicks on the trackpad, right click, I can say add folder. So I'm going to name a folder Google, I'm just going to name it Classroom. And you can actually use emojis for this if you want. But we won't for right now since I want it to say Classroom. Now I have this folder for Classroom, and I can drag my classwork for each one of those classes over to Classroom. We'll put that in there just for good measure. And let's put that in there too. So now under Classroom, I can go to all my classes, or I can go to the classwork for each one of those. And look, it puts out the words for me so I know exactly which page I'm going to. So now when I start up my browser, I need to go assign classwork in my super secret or check on assignments, I can go right to it without going to Google Classroom, then clicking on my class, then clicking on classwork. Saved you 3 clicks from there. Anything in Google Drive is also bookmarkable. If you'll notice, in your Google Drive, there's a folder called Classroom. This Classroom folder has folders for your classes that you have. And inside those, there's a folder for each one of the assignments you've ever assigned. I don't know if you've seen this. When I'm on a folder, say I'm on the Classroom folder, I can also drag that down into the toolbar. Now I can be anywhere I want on the internet. Click on Classroom and it's going to go to my Classroom folder. Any document in, let's go to my here I got my Super Secret Learning Tech Extreme course syllabus that I just downloaded from the internet. Any document can also be bookmarked by grabbing the lock and dragging it down. So now no matter where I am, I can get to my Super Secret Learning Tech Extreme syllabus just by clicking on it. So if there are those files that you're using a lot of, you can bookmark those in your toolbar and easily jump to them without you trying to remember, okay, where did I put that last? And just like we did for the Classroom, we can make a folder and put those in the folder. Just lickety split. And your folders can contain other folders. If I create a folder up here called Important Folders, I can drag that into my Files folder and put it right at the top. See that line that shows up? I can put it right at the top. Now there's an Important Folders, which has nothing in it, but maybe I want to put my Great New folder in there. I'm in that folder, drag the link, drag it over Files, and then drag it onto Important. See how it lights up? If it's a line, it's just going to put it in the Files folder. If it's lit up, see how that's gray now? It'll put it in that Important Folders. So now I can easily get to that Important folder by clicking on Files, Important Folders, Great New Folder. Quick, 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 and it makes it so much faster to get to anything that you need without you digging through and searching. Last folder I'm going to talk about is you can create a daily folder. Inside that, see how I have my Gmail, chat, calendar. Those I go to all the time. So let's put those into my daily folder. My calendar. Whoop, whoop. So now I can easily jump if I don't have these open. Let's say when I restart it, oh, it reopened my pin tab, so that was ruined. But if I right click on this daily, the new option is open all 3 in a new window. So I can easily open all 3 of those up into a new window. You can do that with any of these. So if I want to make a new folder in here called classwork. I'm going to put all my classwork folders inside this classwork folder just because I need classworks in my classworks. If I right click on classwork, I can say open all 3 and it'll open all 3 of those up without me having to do anything else. Final piece before I move on from these folders. Make sure you are signed in to Google Chrome. See, I'm signed in as Mr. Duck here at KentonCitySchools.org. You want to be signed in and sync turned on because you don't want to spend all of this time putting in these folders and then something happens to your computer. If sync isn't turned on and something happens to your computer, you'll lose all of that nice little work. So be sure, click on this little icon here, and this might have your picture if you've changed it, or it'll have your initial of your last name, or yeah, I think it's your last name showing up. So make sure that is turned on so you don't lose that. You don't want to lose all this hard work that I just put in. So bookmarks contain bookmarks, bookmark directly to files. You'll save so much time if you bookmark. If you use a file more than once a day, bookmark it in your toolbar in a folder so you can quickly get to it without jumping through. And once they're in there, you can click and drag them. And if you do want to rename them, just right click on it and there's a rename option. So that's where we are with bookmarks. I've lost my window. Where is my... There she is. The live stream is always available after I'm done recording, so you guys can relive this moment over and over to your heart's content. Next up, switch to scheduling emails. This online learning that we are thrust into, it's a marathon, not a sprint. We like to work 24/7, it appears, and that can get other people a little antsy if you send them emails at 3 a.m. and they miss them or they think, oh, I haven't responded to that yet, and especially in the evening. In Gmail, you can schedule emails to be sent out at a later time. So if there's something you want to tell somebody, if it's not an emergency, which 90% of the time it's not going to be an emergency, and for those other 10% of the time, you can message them. But you can schedule emails. So if I go to start up a new message, we'll send it to Tara because she always loves being annoyed by me. We need ho-hos. Now, even my ho-ho emergency, I'm not going to send this out right now because I want to show you how to schedule it. So even ho-hos is not that big of an emergency. Buy ho-hos. Down here with beside the send, there's a schedule send. So I can say, I can send it tomorrow morning. Now, if everybody starts scheduling their messages, it always selects 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. All you're doing is overwhelming the person at 8 a.m. because they'll get this barrage of email all at the same time. What I usually do, pick a date and time. So I'll pick tomorrow, and then I leave the minutes to whatever the current minute is, and you see it's 10:19, so it even puts up 11:19. So I can say 10:19 tomorrow. So it kind of randomizes it a little bit. So you're not overwhelming them all when they first get in the morning. If you sent them 5 email messages over the evening and they haven't checked their email, you're going to barrage them with 5 emails right away, along with all of the other millions of emails. So try to schedule your messages, and with your students also, try to schedule your messages because it's a marathon, not a sprint. You need your downtime. You need your time to relax. When you're in Google Classroom and you want to share something with your class, I'm out of ho-hos. You can schedule it just the same way. You don't have to post everything right as you get them. And that scheduling makes it really nice because you can schedule emails way in advance. There was going to be maintenance done in Progress Book and this was decided upon a month ago, so I had scheduled out an email to send out this Friday. Well, that maintenance has been changed, but I scheduled it over a month ago, so I didn't have to remember to send it out when it was closer. It was just automatically scheduled. So take a moment and check that out. Try to schedule those when you can. And that's scheduling a time. Scheduling also works. I'm not going to schedule this. Tara's already going to get that email tomorrow. When you're doing an assignment, you can also schedule same way. It's right underneath the schedule. Google Assignments, like I mentioned last week or 2 weeks ago, do not assign the assignment until you're absolutely sure you're ready for it to go. Either schedule it or save it as draft. As soon as you assign it, you can't do a lot of editing of the assignment. You can't do much of anything. That's just the way it is. So try to save as draft as much as possible or schedule. As soon as you assign it, all bets are off. Along with that scheduling, transition over. Scheduling Hangouts meets. So if you want to meet with your class, you can schedule that and invite your Google Classroom to that schedule, all in Google Calendar. And I'll show you. So I want to do Tuesdays, and let's just say Tuesdays and Thursdays, I want to have open office hours for my Super Tech Learning Extreme, Super Secret Tech Learning Extreme. Let's make that shorter. SST, Super Secret Tech Learning Extreme Office Hours. And learn to type. Click on more options. So, Super Secret Tech Learning Extreme Office Hours. Oh, gosh darn it. Can't do it with this. I've been using that account for other things, and it doesn't have the access to create a Hangouts meet. So we'll do it with my Collins R account. Super Secret Tech Learning Extreme Office Hours. So I add the event name, and I want to do it every week on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we're going to end on April 30th because I'm being optimistic. So all I do is click that repeat and say Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I'm going to end on April 30th. Say weekly on Tuesdays and Thursdays. This is where you add the meet. So under add conferencing, I can say Hangouts meet, and I'm done. Oh, now I have to invite my class. Over here under guests, not only can you invite individuals or groups, but you can also invite your class. And all I do is start typing Super Secret Learning Tech Extreme, and it pops up here at the top, my classroom. Now Super Secret Tech Learning Extreme is now invited to that group, invited to that office hours, and I hit save, and I could send them all an invite. Sure. Now you'll see my SSTLE office hours are up there for every week. So that's how you schedule it, and the students will get an invite, and they can just click that Join Hangouts Meet, and it'll start up. Now I don't want to go into that because Yeah, camera failed because I'm using it. So the students will be able to join it just by clicking on the Hangouts Meet. I need to rearrange my windows over here. So one issue I've had with, I've gotten several emails from students on they've blocked access to the camera and microphone. The first time you go into a website that requires access to it, that's not what I wanted. The first time you go into a class, it asks you, hey, I need access to your camera and microphone. Well, what's happening is students are saying no, or they'll say no on one but not the other. So I'll get a message saying, hey, they can hear me, but they can't see me. Well, that's underneath this lock. So if you have a student that says they can't do that, or if you can't do that, you can click the lock and make sure camera and microphone are set on allow. And that will save all of us some time. Your class Google groups. Just wanted to show you a quickie on looking for those. Woo! I didn't mean to go forward yet. Oh, get out of here. So everybody has a class Google group. Oh, where's my? There we are. If you go to go.kcs.me/mygroups, you'll see all of the groups that you're a member of. And if you scroll down through, there'll be ones that are named class Google groups and then have your, this is your code from student information that's used for various items. So the one with just your teacher ID code with no number after it, that is all of your students. If there's a number after it, that's the period of that class, and you can click manage members if you want to see that class. I managed this through the schedule, so these should be accurate, but there was a few that weren't. So if you check and yours is not accurate, let me know. But this is an easy way to share items outside of Google Classroom with your class. You can email them. Or if you want to have a discussion with them, you could have that in email using that link. Where this comes apart is departmentalized classrooms at the elementary. All of your classes, even though they might be separate classrooms, they'll all be in the same. So if you're teaching departmentalized math, you'll have one of these groups that'll have 75 students in it because it'll be, or 50 depending on how many classrooms you have. So it kind of falls apart at the elementary, but the middle school and high school, this would be accurate representation of what classes you have. Next up, Hangouts chat. And the reason I mentioned the groups is not this one. This one. If you want to make up a room for your students to be able to ask each other questions, now this is going to require some management issues because if you have a student in there that's just going to be screwing things around, we'll have some discipline issues to take care of. But the classrooms are all archived, so they can't, even if they delete their messages, they're still in the archive that I have to dig through. But if you wanted to create your own classroom, up underneath this, you can say create a room. And I've already created my super secret learning tech extreme. This can be named anything you want. I just named it the whole piece. But under add people and bots, that's where you can use your Google Class groups to add that classroom. So I could add my period 3 to this if I wanted to. Google Classroom. Just a little tip in Google Classroom, and a lot of you probably already noticed this. Any of these items, any of these assignments, any of these items, you can click and drag it around. So if I want to do why does Taco Bell rule down in my volcano topic, I just click and drag it down there, and now it's in the volcano topic. So and if you have more than one topic, you can also do the same thing with topics. You can click and drag them around. So your classwork, depending on your class, might be getting pretty long. You can always move what you're working on to the very top. Well, these aren't in topics, so you can't move it above those. But you can put whichever topic you want at the top, and you can easily put items into topics without editing the assignment and then putting it in there. So we had a question in the chat. Google Classroom Grade tab. I see assignments scheduled for GoNoodle activities I don't want to see in Grade tab. If I delete in Grade tab, does that delete the assignment? Does the assignment delete from the Classroom Assignment tag? I'm not sure. So let's find out. Yeah. Got it. So let's say I delete this one. Test quiz. Grades and comments will also be deleted. Other teachers in this class can see deleted assignment. So it does delete the assignment. My test quiz is not up here anymore. So if you want, I don't know if you can. Let's make this assignment. I wonder if you make it ungraded if it shows up in there. Assign learning is fun. Learning is fun, and that goes along with volcanoes because why not? So it still shows up there, but it gives an NA. So there's no way to keep assignments from showing up in your grades tab, but you can say it's ungraded so it doesn't show up points. Is there a resource that shows how to create rubrics in oh, somebody can't see what I'm doing. Oh, because I didn't hit the transition. Okay, so here's my class, and I just added this learning is fun, and even if I made it ungrading, it still shows up here. And if I delete it from here, it deletes it from here, because remember, it was in the volcano topic. So no, you cannot have assignments that don't show up on the grades sheet. Resource that shows how to create rubrics and sheets that can be posted with an assignment. Oh, wasn't there a... And they change this all the time. So when you create your assignment, oh, that one's already published. Let me do here we go. My grade assignment. It's not published yet because I can't change anything. So when you are creating the assignment, over in the right side, it allows you to put the rubric. You can create a rubric, you can reuse a rubric, or you can import a rubric from sheets. So let's just do the create rubric because I've never seen this before, so I wonder what it was. So you can fill in your whole rubric and add different criterion. That goes up there with my other word, fraudulent, for the day. So you can create your rubrics and assign them right on the assignment. Once you assign the assignment, does it let us... I don't think I can... Oh, fudge. Yes, you can still add a rubric even after you've assigned it. So that's kind of nice. So you can, if you already have one created, you can reuse the assignment. I don't know what import from Google Sheets. You'd have to have a rubric in Google Sheets. So that would be something I would need to, or you can do a search on how to put your rubric in Sheets and then import it from there. And you're right. It would be easy to share Google Sheets rubric. Google Classroom, Google Sheets rubric import. Okay, here you go. Alice Keeler has a rubric. I will share this with everybody right now. That looks weird. I don't know how to use that. Yeah, those are both the... Huh. Okay, so you should be able to find something. If you can't, let me know. I can do some more searches. But yeah, I found 2 templates, but I don't know how. Can you just copy those down? I don't know how to fill that in. I'm sure she has a help page on it. No, not this one. So sometimes when you're looking for searching, be sure you check the date. Look at this. This was posted almost 4 years ago. Google Classroom and Google Sheets has changed immensely in 4 years. So that is not one that we want to use. So you can find some things. So another question, this came up last week. You cannot schedule an assignment across multiple grade levels at the same time. Multiple grade levels. Across multiple classes at the same time. The question was, is it possible to schedule an assignment in Google Classroom for all class periods at the same time? I have 6 sections of the same class, and it seems like I have to schedule each class individually. Oh, and of course, I don't have teacher access to these other 2 groups, so I can't do it from this one. But no, you cannot. You have to go into each one, and I'm assuming well, I could make all sorts of assumptions. But no, you can save it as draft, and then go into each one of your classes. Let me go to one that I have some. So if I go in my super secret and create a assignment, another great assignment about ho-hos. Let me pick a couple classes I can assign it to. So I can't, as soon as I have 3 classes selected, the schedule is out. But and since it's saved as a draft, it doesn't show up in the other ones yet either. I would have to do this doesn't seem right. Come on. So, where is that? Super secret. Another great assignment about ho-hos. To put it in multiple classes, unless I wait and set, I can't schedule them ahead of time. I can assign it all now. Or I can put it in one class, which will let me schedule it. And then I go to my other classes and hit the reuse assignment. and let this come up. So if I go to my super secret tech learning extreme, there is that assignment. So I can hit reuse. And now, so I'd have to do that in each class. But now I can schedule it in this one. And then I'd go into my other class. So yeah, it's a pain because you have to go into each one of your other 5 classes. You can do it in one, but then you'd have to go into each one of your other 5 classes to schedule it. But that's just, hopefully they'll work on it. When Google Classroom was first released, they didn't even have that schedule option to do anything. Oh, and one other piece on Google Classroom that I forgot to mention. When you're in a classroom, each class has a Google Calendar, which we can see right from there. But be quiet, phone. You can also jump to that class. So my Super Secret Learning Tech Extreme, you can also jump directly to that class drive folder right from the classwork page. But you can also put that into your bookmarks if you wanted to. Okay, so that's all I have for today. This stream seemed to have worked a lot better. If you have any questions, I will be get them ready because I will be doing it again next month. Or it's spring break, so I've got to take a day off or 2 for spring break and probably mow the lawn here. So next week's live stream will probably I'm not going to say probably. Next week's live stream will be on Tuesday, and I'll send a invite to the calendar so you guys can watch this brilliance that it is of the KCS Tech live stream. You can also rewatch these at any time, so if you can't make it, you can go to the calendar invite and find the link for the live stream, or go to my YouTube channel and see all the ones that are up there. Have fun today. Have fun this week. Hang in there.